We made a jump to 2011 for Legendary 6 Samurais. Now we're going back all the way to 2006 for another deck, another retro deck. The mat is similar to what we're going to talk about, and that is Chimeratech OTK 2006. The year is 2006. The list is September 06. Let's check out Chimeratech OTK. First, 3 copies of Overdragon, the card that killed GOAT format and revolutionized the GX, pun intended, with revolutionized. Free summon, great attack, fusion material, Overdragon, 3 copies. 3, Cyber Phoenix. This card protects machines from targeting, spells and traps that target. So say no more to Sakuretsu Armor, Book of Moon, Enemy Controller. All those cards be gone when Cyber Phoenix is around. And when it's destroyed in attack position, you get to draw a card. Perfect. To help get out Cyber Phoenix, another machine we saw previously in Fire Princess, 3 copies of UFO Turtle. Great machine, floater, recruiter. Get out Cyber Phoenix. This deck is all about good machines, and one of them is the Koichi, the Battle Chanted Locomotive. Unfortunately, no Boko Cheese in the deck, because that would be hard to set up. These are actually the Speed Duel versions. I actually went after these due to the commons being pricey, and I only have one Ultimate Rare, and we're not going to use that one in here. 3 Dekoichis. Perfect card. Next, some high-level machines that are just there for future fusion to send them, but if you do summon them, they're impactful. Jinzo and Spell Canceller. Next up, for 2 spellcasters that are staple in the era, Magician of Faith and Breaker the Magical Warrior. Always good. The last 2 monsters in the deck, 2 copies of the Light Hex-Sealed Fusion. Now this card is interesting because it's a substitute for Overdragon when you use Overload Fusion. So that's how you substitute it. And it has an effect that it can tribute itself with fusion material monsters to summon a fusion monster from the extra deck. A light fusion monster. So the combo, you can already guess it. You have this on the field with one of your Cyber Dragons. Send these 2 away. And you get out your Cyber Twin Dragon from your extra deck. Gives you a nice beater out of nowhere. The Light Hex-Sealed Fusion. And the power spell of the deck is none other than Future Fusion. This is the original effect of Future Fusion. Busted. Instantly sends the materials right when you activate. None of that waiting. But up to 3 turns, because the new one is just trash. Future Fusion. To follow up the Future Fusion, 3 copies of Overload Fusion. This is the list where Overload Fusion was at 3 in the TCG, and Future Fusion was already limited due to the OCG list. We shared the lists back then. This card is the MVP and the whole reason why this deck is named Chimeratech OTK. You pretty much combo Future Fusion to send everything in your deck, follow up with an Overload Fusion, and then drop your Chimeratech. I will show it towards the end of the video. This card is just... Back then, this was amazing. I loved it. Next, we got 3 copies of Enemy Controller and 1 Book of Moon. Utility spells. Put things face down. Same thing with Enemy Controller. Change the battle position of monsters. And you could take them from your opponent with that hidden mode that Enemy Controller has. These are useful. To ensure Overload Fusion is an OTK, we have 2 copies of Giant Trunade, Heavy Storm, and 1 Mystical Space Typhoon. What can I say? Get rid of the back row. That's why you need these 4. For draw power, Graceful Charity card destruction. Premature Burial, good card, revive monsters. Combo with Giant Trunade. Bring back something like Jinzo or Spell Canceller with that you send off Fusion. Wouldn't be a machine deck without limited removal, right? Double attack, damage step tricks, get them to high attack points. Limiter. This card. Why was this card legal for so long back then? Confiscation. It's just unfair. Why? This final spell card was actually at 3, but I only own 1 copy, and that is Dimension Fusion. Check the price on this card. There's a reason why I didn't go after a second. This is another follow-up play after Overload Fusion has already removed from play or banished everything from your graveyard. Slap the Dimension Fusion onto the field, bring everything back, and just keep going. This card 100% can't come back. You pay 2,000 life points. Your opponent gets stuff back too, but no, this is a one-sided card. Never come back. For trap cards, 1 Mirror Force, a staple back then. Ring of Destruction was still around. This is another way to secure game. Because Ring of Destruction, this is the good Ring of Destruction. Not that ugly errata that came out in Gold Series. Man, all these cards got destroyed. Well, the original Ring of Destruction, it can force games in a tie. It can give you game since both players go life points reach 0. That's why it can force a tie. And when the game state is not going your way, you can get a big Chimeratech. You know, just ring for game if you want to end it in a tie. This is probably a judge nightmare at actual events back in the day. But I love this card. And the final 2 traps, Reckless Greed. That was actually semi-limited back in the day of 2006. Reckless Greed. Just gotta draw more cards, get your combo pieces, your backer removal, go for game. We do have a fusion deck this time. 2 Chimeratech Overdragons. The reason why this deck has the name, and it was feared. Next, 2 Cyber End Dragons. This card does not get summoned as often in this variant, but it's just nice to have them here. I mean, original Cybernetic Revolutions, why not? The only way you can technically summon Cyber End Dragon is the Light Hex-Sealed Fusion, and then sending away 2 Cyber Dragons. But are you really going to do that? I pulled this one myself. I just have to say that. Love this card. And finally, the last 2 machines in the extra deck, or fusion deck, Cyber Twin Dragon. This one does get summoned, as I mentioned before. It's a good card. Attacks twice, combo or limiter. This is another OTK out of nowhere. Cyber Twin Dragon. That's it for the main deck. Now we're going to show the Future Fusion combo. Let's go. And here's how the play starts. Activate Future Fusion. Reveal your Chimeratech Overdragon. So Future Fusion, reveal Chimeratech. Then you would send machine monsters from your deck to the graveyard. And in this scenario, I'm going to send everything. Just to show. So we're going to send Cyber Dragon, the required fusion material. Listed on Chimeratech, so that's mandatory. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. So 14 machines get dumped to the graveyard. Now that they're in the graveyard, we're going to follow it up with our Overload Fusion. So activate Overload Fusion and banish every machine we counted. So 14 gets banished. So long, machines. It was nice having you there for like a few seconds. To summon our Chimeratech Overdragon. So Chimeratech Overdragon, when it's summoned, it sends all your cards on the other side of the field to the graveyard. So that Future Fusion is useless. And it gains 800 attack for every machine used for its fusion summon. So summon Chimeratech, get rid of this. And now Chimeratech, because we send 14, he has 11,200 attack points. This is lethal no matter what. So Chimeratech, and it can attack every monster. But if you're going to swing directly, that's this game. Now that concludes Chimeratech OTK 2006. Now if this deck is that scary, how can you beat this deck? Well, the key thing against this deck is to make sure its game push isn't lethal. And there's only one card in the format that can help you or save you when the Chimeratech player is using everything they got to defeat you. And that is Waboku. Just think about it. Flip Waboku, chain it to Giant Trunade, Heavy Storm, anything. And Yeah, if they've committed the future fusion, they're on a timer. And that gives you the next turn to get in there and try to defeat them. That's the one way to finish off Chimeratech before it OTKs you. And that concludes this deck profile. Please leave a like, comment on the video, share it with anybody that likes these type of old school decks. And we will bring you more. And the next one might be a different kind of OTK deck. But you'll see. Just wait and find out.